What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Truth and Easy. It's your boy Truth.
It's your boy Eazy.
And today's episode, we're going to talk about our expectations of J. Cole and what he has planned for us in the near future. So back in 2018, I would say March, April, he dropped his album KOD.
Mm-hmm.
And surprisingly, this album got snubbed from the Grammys.
You think snubbed?
Yeah. Because considering his previous album, For Your Eyes Only, was questionable. I mean, to this day, it actually grew on me just a tiny bit, but it's still pretty bad in this discography. KOD was a very powerful album, and it had a good message. You know what I'm saying? So once the album ends, he has the outro track, which is the intro to The Fall Off, 1985. So with that being said, what do you expect from J. Cole coming into 2019 with these two projects called The Offseason and The Fall Off?
So I believe The Fall Off is the album that's going to be the follow-up to KOD, right? If I'm not mistaken. Or is that the mixtape? Because I know he's got a mixtape and an album.
The Offseason.
The Offseason.
The Offseason will be the mixtape, and then The Fall Off will be the album.
So with the Offseason, we already got a sneak peek at that with his Uchi Walla Walla remix. Do you remember?
Was it called End of Year Freestyle or like Greatest Album?
I think I forgot Album of the Year Freestyle.
Album of the Year Freestyle. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
That shit went nuts. Like when I heard that, I was like, my boy
J. Cole,
Jermaine. Like
this
is the J. Cole that like I love. Like
yeah,
he's just like free forming and just like having a good time
fun with it.
Like sick flows. Like I'm personally more excited for the mixtape than the album, because mixtape Cole is my favorite Cole.
I feel like all artists in general, when it comes to the mixtape and the album, they put their heart and soul.
Because like albums always have so much expectations. You want to have a theme, a message. You want to, achieve something with your album. Like this is what your legacy is dependent on, right? But then you have artists that like come through on mixtapes, and they're just like, it's a lot more like you feel a lot more free. Like,
you're more laid back and just able to do what you want to do and have fun with it.
Exactly.
With no expectations.
And we saw that on the Album of the Year freestyle. That shit went nuts. So if we can expect that from the mixtape, ooh, 2019 finna be cold, bro.
Whew. It's gonna be cold, but it's also gonna be some hot fire too. Icy
cold
hot.
Under pressure. Now, what that make diamonds. That's one of my favorite bars he ever spit, bro. But yeah, so in terms of that, I'm very excited. I think the album's gonna be called The Fall Off, right?
Yes, the album is gonna be called The Fall Off.
So while KOD was talking about like the drugs and the glitz and glamour of like that whole lifestyle, I believe The Fall Off will be dictating what happens after that shit. And especially because of the 1985 song, he's talking about obviously like Lil Pump, like in a couple years you're gonna be on Love and Hip Hop. I think like the Fall Off album is gonna be
him talking about like the consequences.
Exactly. I'd expect some mentions of like people like Mac Miller situation, Lil Peep situation, and stuff like that, who they unfortunately pass at very young ages due to their habits and stuff. And I assume that's going to be a big focus of the album. And also just like how riding these waves and shit, like, yeah, you're going to be popping now. You're going to get some success now. But then like in a couple years, like you're going to be broken, forgotten about, you know what I mean? Because like this doesn't have that longevity. Like when you hop on these waves and these trends, and
he mentions it perfectly in that song.
And it's like when you do that kind of stuff, like, yeah, like they're fans of you now, but like that's not the stuff that's gonna stick, you know.
Yeah, it's not gonna carry on with you for the rest of your career.
Exactly.
You have to evolve in this game. You can't be one dimensional.
That's facts, and I think that's gonna be a huge focal point of the album that's gonna be coming out, and I'm looking forward to it because I love it when J. Cole is speaking on this, because he knows his shit. You know what I mean?
He definitely does, and that's a good concept for an album right there. When I first heard The Fall Off the album, I don't know why, but I'm thinking J. Cole is literally gonna like fall off a cliff and like go in the opposite direction. But like this is J. Cole we're talking about, and there's no way he's gonna like fall off and deliver like a what the fuck,
like some weird shit
album. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely have to agree with your thoughts about that, and hopefully because with that freestyle, he was spitting, and he was cocky with it too. You know, he's like, yo, I'm here. I never left.
Facts.
And I really hope with the mixtape and the album, he's coming correct. I am a little skeptical about it though, because before For Your Eyes Only dropped, he dropped False Prophets.
That is true.
Everybody Dies.
That is true.
And everyone was like, yo, Cole's back. He's coming at these rappers next. Can't wait for the album. Album drops. It's a disappointment.
And speaking of that, I think Cole showed a lot of humility with that situation, because he started off like coming at these like mumble rappers or shit, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And just like dissing them and talking shit to them, to like understanding them and making KOD, which is heavily inspired by these artists, and like trying to like appeal to them and saying like, and trying to reach them, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that showed a lot of maturity and humility from him.
That is
and
true.
That's just part of the reason why, like, even if J. Cole will make an album that I don't necessarily like For Your Eyes Only, I'll always respect the fuck out of the man. Like, he's got a good head on his shoulders, man.
He even reached out to Lil Pump.
Yeah.
They had, an hour-long interview, and J. Cole, he even spoke to Tentacion before he passed.
Real? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he said Tentacion like touched him on a deep level. Damn. I have to like dive into it and see like what the discussions were about, but like he was definitely touched by that kid. So that speaks volume right there.
Yeah, man. Like it just goes to show that like no matter like who you are or what position you're in, like you can always learn something from another person. Even if like for most people they would consider an artist like X or Lil Pump to be supremely below an artist like J. Cole, I think that like even still like J. Cole knows that there's always something to learn. And like I remember I watched a video, because J. Cole's a very religious man, and he's talking to I think the Adam guy from No Jumper or some shit, and he's an atheist. Mm-hmm. And they're just having a conversation about like why he believes in atheism, because like J. Cole is just genuinely curious. He wants to learn, you know? And I think that kind of mentality is going to lead to like great music, and him trying to understand these kids. If the fall off is about what I mentioned, I think that's going to lead to a very introspective album. And I think that
for sure,
like, I don't think it's going to reach somebody like a Lil Pump, because like they're seeing so much success for what they're doing. It's hard for them most likely
to grasp that.
Exactly. Because like when we're kids, we think we know everything. We think we have the world figured out. We don't want to hear.
Yeah, we're just young and naive. You know, we're not paying attention to that.
So I don't think it's going to reach an artist like Lil Pump, but I think more importantly, it'll reach the artist that could potentially become a Lil Pump, or like it'll affect like the younger generation, the people coming up, so that way they come into the game with a better head on their shoulders.
Yeah.
And I think J. Cole and even people like Jay-Z talking about like taxes and all this other bullshit and like and investments and shit, like I think it's raising the younger generation to be more smart about their shit. And I think that like after this wave of like Lil Pump artists and shit like that, I think we're gonna get a lot more artists that might like hop on these sounds, but they're have a way better head on their shoulders, and they'll be a lot more smart about it in the future.
Kind of like Joey Badass almost, because he's still young,
right? Yeah,
and he's still spitting on like on a J. Cole caliber, talking about these issues, you know.
Exactly. And like, and especially with Joey Badass, because he's had people in his camp pass away and stuff like that, so I know he's touched by this shit too. And I would love to see Joey Badass and J. Cole together. Like I would love to see,
because J. Cole hopped on All American Badass, the legendary track. It's perfect.
That shit was fire.
I was not expecting J. Cole to be spitting like that.
Like I really hope he has Joey Badass, because like J. Cole never like really has a lot of features on his albums. Like I want him to bring.
He has no features.
Right.
The last 3 albums,
Platinum, no features. Like I want him to bring on Joey Badass. I need a Kendrick collab, bro. Like they need to stop playing with me.
Drizzy.
Oh
no, Casper. Terrible.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I just don't know if like.
I feel like J. Cole can bring the best out of Drake.
I hope so, because like, I feel like Drake is in this.
He needs it.
I feel like Drake is in this different
atmosphere.
Yeah, like I feel like he would need to match J. Cole's energy, and I don't know if he's there right now. I believe in Drake. He can do it,
because the last track they did together was the Jodeci freestyle.
Yeah, like, and
That one verse by J. Cole, in my opinion, just body the 2 verses by Drake. But Drake did hold his own on that.
I don't want to hear a song from them about like
about generic shit. Yeah, you want it to be something that's positive and it's actually like
Drake,
hitting you.
Yeah, Drake is in this, like, he is as big as you can get in this rap shit. Yeah. And I want to see like his take. I want to see him spit some introspective shit. Like, what's his advice?
I know when you make it. I know he can too. He just needs to do it.
I make a lot of memes, but Drake is a great writer. Like Drake can do this shit. And I want to see him do it because, like, as you know, I've fallen off from Drake as a fan, but like I'd be stupid to say, like, I still love Drake. Like, what do you mean? And I know he can do this. I want to see him do it.
I just really hope their encounter last week, you know, they're actually talking and discussing, you know, why don't we do like a couple tracks? Let's go to the studio. Let's do something up. You know, I really hope so. Like, don't show up for the gram like, yo, I'm with my boy.
No
Casper. You know what I'm saying? I just really hope they could cook something up. And on a side note, I really hope Drake can link up with Kendrick too. Like, if those 3 on a track,
that would be legendary. Those are like the top 3 right now.
Legendary.
That would be legendary.
Let's hope for it, man. What did you guys think about our thoughts and opinions? What do you guys expect for J. Cole coming to 2019? Let us know in the comments down below. It's been your boy Truth.
It's been your boy Eazy.
Catch you in the next video.
Peace out.
Peace.